We get to the closing table, y'all. And like I said, by this time I saved up about $15,000 because I was saving through the process. So I get to the closing table. I don't have to pay anything out of pocket. In addition to me not having to pay anything out of pocket, they gave me a $5,000 check because of a seller's concession, because I worked it out to where the seller gave me $10,000 back at the closing table to help me with closing costs. I didn't need it all. I used some of the money to buy the interest rate down to 2.5%. In addition to I got the keys to my property. In addition to that, it was the end of the month. So all of the tenants paid me rent the same day. In addition to that, it was a Friday, so I got my check from my job. So I went from making $26,000 a year to having about $26,000 cash in my account.
How that Friday? What'd you do that weekend? Let's talk about that
Can
weekend.
you say it on the podcast?
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of More Than a Side Hustle podcast. My name is Anthony.
And I'm Janoka.
And our goal is to help 9-to-5ers create more impact, income, and influence outside their jobs. And today is no other. We are going to be talking about one of the, in my opinion, one of the least known real estate programs that I've ever seen. We tried to go through this program. It didn't work out. We're going to talk about why it didn't work out. And we are talking to Andre, one of the GOATs of NACA. And if you guys don't know NACA, you're going to learn all about it and why you guys need to learn about this program.
He's all over the Instagram page, by the way, so he legit.
Yeah.
He legit.
So, Dre, appreciate you being here.
Man, thank y'all for having me, man.
One of Chi-Town's legends. So before we get to NACA and everything, tell us a little bit about yourself and what even drew you to the program.
My name is Andre Haynes. I'm from the south side of Chicago, the Ida Wells projects. I don't come from a whole lot of financial literacy, no financial literacy at all, really. Government assisted everything, Section 8, EBT, like just really like, from the bottom. And, growing up, I was adopted, blessed enough to be into my own family. And when I was adopted, I moved to a town called Maywood, where I went to high school at a school called Proviso East, which is essentially like a basketball factory. Like, it just produces NBA players like crazy. And I met two really cool guys, D Brown and Shannon Brown. And through them...
Shannon Brown, Lakers?
Yes, 2 championships with Kobe. That's my man. And through him, I met a lady by the name of Keoki, because Keoki used to, handle Shannon Money and just, pretty much do all of his stuff. Like, when he got traded, make sure he was straight when he moved and all of that stuff. And she was just really on top of her business, and she was also a real estate broker as well. And under Keoki, there was a whole lot of tutelage about real estate. She put me through real estate school, all of these different things. But I never got my license because at the time, the market had crashed, and I just, was really discouraged by that. But throughout the process, Keoki had just really been speaking life into me. Mind you, like I said, I'm from the bottom, bro. It's not a whole lot of encouragement. It's not a whole lot of opportunity that I see. When I moved to the suburbs and I had those relationships with my friends that introduced me to people like her, and I used to rap too. And I never really made it in rap, but I got real close all the time. God just
What's
never
the closest you got? I need to know.
I would have meetings with labels, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
I would be opening up for Young Jock, guys like Fat Joe, you know what I mean? I'm talking about when they was popping.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? And
so you wasn't a Facebook rapper?
No, hell no. My homie, my friend who was my producer, right now he sold over 40 million records worldwide. Birthday cake for Rihanna, Big Sean, Justin Bieber. I was in it, but wow. it just wasn't in God's plans for me. And
wait, you could have been a rapper and you could have been a bowler?
Yes, sir.
Man, listen.
Yes, sir. Like I said, but it just wasn't in God's plans. Okay. I was around.
You never know; it could come back around.
Yeah, I was. When I say I was in it, I was in it, and after a while, I just realized that me rapping wasn't paying dividends. Mind you, I had NBA money behind me. I had NBA players pushing me no, this is my man. He dope. I'm meeting with labels. My guy is a big time producer. I couldn't get signed. I had songs on the radio. I was doing videos. I was dead ass broke though. I wasn't making $1 from this shit. So after a while, I just really had to sit down, do some self-evaluation. I was getting eviction notices on my door. I had 2 daughters behind on child support, all of these different things.
Wait, why wasn't rapping working? Because it seemed like you had all the pieces in place to make that work.
Or is it just the business of music?
It's just, honestly, man, I don't know. I can't even answer those questions. Like I said, at this point, I just realized it just wasn't in God's plan.
Were you good though?
I was nice.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Fat Joe. Fat Joe was a big deal.
Like, I was nice.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
We gotta play
like,
a track.
and I was like trying to like make hits though. Like, you know, I was in the studio mixing, mastering, like really like putting money and effort behind
okay.
you know, everything that I was doing. And like I said, it just never worked out. And I eventually, like I said, had to sit down and like just reevaluate my situation. Like, bro, this ain't it. So I went and got a job at a telemarketing company, like just like the bottom of the bottom.
From rapping slash basketball to a telemarketer.
Like, I'm sitting next to Jay-Z and Beyonce at the Final Four because my friends were in the Final Four. I'm associated with Kobe Bryant and LeBron James because Shannon played with Kobe and LeBron James. He was drafted by Cleveland and won back-to-back championships.
You know Shannon.
That's Monica's?
Monica's
Yeah.
ex-husband.
Okay, that's what I thought. You sound familiar. You got to say it how I would know it. Monica's ex-husband,
and
okay.
and them my people, you know what I'm saying? So I'm associated and I'm around all of this amazing
I can't even
shit.
imagine
like just around
that
all
mindset.
of this money, and it's just like I ain't got a dime.
Oh damn.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's not like these people weren't supporting me, they weren't pushing me, they were encouraging me. It just wasn't for me. So again, I had to sit back, evaluate. I went and got that job, but what that job did was it forced me to become the person that I am now, because it was like, all right, you went from here,
Right.
looking like you had all of these different things and going on. Your relationships were amazing, but you didn't have anything. So now you're here. And in this job, I'm working with like, and this is not to judge anybody, but the mindsets. A lot of people who were just getting out of jail, you know, females who had multiple kids, baby daddy, Section 8, you know, stuff like that my family came from. So the mindsets there just were not the same as like this environment that I was just in for the past, 5-10 years. And at some point I just like got so tired of being depressed and sad and down. I'm just like, yo, you gotta like really shake this shit. Like, you can't give up on your dream of being wealthy. Now, sports and entertainment didn't work out because in our communities, that's all we see. Like, those are the opportunities that we see. I immediately started Googling, yo, how are regular everyday people out here getting rich? Real estate, the stock market, it kept coming up. Real estate, the stock market. Then I came across Rich Dad, Poor Dad, $2.99 on Amazon. Let me order this book real fast. I ain't got shit else to lose. The book came. I sat in my cubicle. I read it, and I could not stop reading. I finished the book in one work day. Like, my supervisors were on my ass like, dude, you got phone calls coming in? Like, you ignoring people? Like, pick up the phone. I'm like, yo, like,
This is
matter of
it.
fact, like, I'm going home for the day. Like, I need to finish this. Like, I got something to do. Like, and it just immediately gave me a mindset shift. Like, whoa, like, this has been your issue the whole time. You were in your own way. You putting your life and your just like pretty much well-being in the hands of other people. You depending on your friends and all of these people to do these things for you and put you in position when, in all actuality, you have to take control.
What was the book about? Or what is the book about?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad is about just, one, understanding mindset. You know what I mean? The way that you think is the most important thing in the world. Understand the assets over liabilities. We waste a lot of money and a lot of time putting value in things that aren't worth anything. You know what I mean? In addition to that, understanding that you're in control. The minute you allow other people to control you, your bosses, your parents, your family, whoever, it's a wrap. Like, you don't have any real movement because you're so concerned about what everybody else around you is thinking and saying that you're like stagnant because their opinions are what move you. You know what I mean? Just their approval is what moves you. And once I learned that, and like once that kind of sunk in, like I just started reading everything. Like, yo, this is my way out right here. Then after that,
So, would you say that the book saved your life?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that book saved my life because it changed my mindset, and that mindset shift is what started me on the path to doing everything that y'all see me doing today. So that book, then I read Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins, which got me right as far as like money, finances, just understanding financial literacy, the stock market, where to invest in the stock market, how to like diversify my income, whether it be, all right, cool, this is going to be for bills, this is going to be for investments, this is going to be for, you know what I mean, fun. Like, it just broke all of that stuff down to me, things that nobody in my community, friends, family, etc. had ever had a conversation with me about. But I just went on this path of learning on my own, and it was like a rabbit hole. And you know, once you read one book, two books, it's just like the world opens up. And then those books that you're reading, they'll suggest other books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, cool, let me go get this one. So in a year, I probably read about 50 or 60 books. You know what I mean? And in that time frame, I was working my ass off because, like I said, I'm just like, yo, I get it now. So with this job that I thought was a dead-end job initially, I started to excel. It was a sales job. They pay commission. I'm a hustler. Like, I can sell whatever. Like, so it's like now I'm taking it serious. Like, I'm not in here mad and depressed no more. This is an opportunity for me now. So now I'm working 50, 60-hour weeks. I'm killing, getting all the bonuses, the top salesperson in the company at this point, saving every dollar. I'm eating noodles. I got a thing for Jordans. I love Jordans. Stop buying Jordans. Stop eating out. Stop hanging with my friends. Like, my guys playing ball, everything. Everybody like, where Dre at? What Dre got going on? Dre disappeared. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dre went into silence so he can get his shit together. And
how long did that take?
I had about $10,000-$12,000 saved up. Like, boy. And mind y'all, like, I was making about, after taxes, about $26,000. So for me to be able to save 10, that was amazing for me.
We all have at some point we all have had 9 to 5s, or we go to a job and we're sitting there like, all right, this job is what it is. But you literally changed. You didn't change jobs. You just changed your mindset, and the job ended up changing.
Yep. And I think that's the case with a lot of people, because I didn't realize that my job was my first investor. My job was what was going to sponsor my dreams. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, after I saved about 10, 12 grand, I called Keoki. She's the only person that I knew who had ever taught me anything about anything that was valuable. So this person, I trusted her dearly. So I'm like, hey, Key, look, I got about 12 grand. I think I'm ready to buy a house. And she was like, yeah, that's cool or whatnot. But you should really consider getting you a multi-unit. You young, you know what I'm saying? You're in a position to whereas your job ain't the best. That's not a career. You know what I'm saying? What you want to do is start doing something that's going to free you up from that job, or at least allowing that money that you're making from that job to seem way more than what it is. Because if you go get you a multi-unit, what you can do, Dre, is you can live in a unit and allow other units to pay for your property. Now you're living for free while you're getting your mortgage paid for, and you're keeping all of the money that you're working for. And at that point, it's like, all right, cool. You just saved $10,000. Imagine if you're able to keep all $26,000 of these dollars. Imagine what you can do then. So it just rung a bell off in my head, because essentially I read the same thing in Rich Dad Poor Dad: assets over liabilities, purchase assets, go buy stuff that's going to make you money. And this is coming from a person I trusted on top of a book that I just read. Oh, that's all I need. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? That was confirmation for me. You know, a lot of times we read stuff and we come across stuff, but we be needing that confirmation. Like, man, is this, is this real?
That only worked for him.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's for those type of people, not me.
Yeah, exactly. And she was like, that's cool, but look, go get you a multi-unit. And this is the play. There's this program called NACA.
And before we get into
how long ago was that too? What year?
Yeah.
2014. She told me about.
And what's the definition of a multi-unit?
So a property that has more than one living resident. So it's not a single family home, but there's a maybe an apartment, or, you know what I mean, maybe 2 homes. You know what I'm saying? It depends on where you are. You have different forms of multi-unit.
Because in New York, we had
the country you're in.
New York, we lived in a multi-unit. Out here, it's like a duplex or like a triplex. It's like
they call it different things. we have so many different kinds. You got 20 units. You have a 4-unit property. You got a 3-unit, 2 units, depending on the size of it. But in Chicago, residential properties are considered 4 units or less.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's like, you're allowed to go through this program called NACA. And with NACA, Neighborhood Assistance Corporations of America, you can buy a property up to 4 units. And the benefits of the program are no money down, no closing costs, no agent or attorney fees. You get the lowest interest rate in the country, regardless of what your credit score is. No PMI. And I'm just like, what?
That sounds like a scam to me.
What is this?
I'm like,
that sounds like a scam to me.
Yeah. And she was so serious. She's like, Dre, have I ever lied to you about anything? I'm like, no. And she's like, just do what I tell you. And I went to the website, registered for their 4-hour seminar, whatever. I went.
Was that virtual or in person?
No, that's when it was in person.
So
I'm sitting in the church in the hood, like, where the fuck am I right now? This is crazy that I'm here right now. And then it's like, they don't have a team or just like an environment. Whereas for people like me, like I'm a young, hip, flashy kind of guy, like and it's just like you go in there, it's just like smell like old church, it's like older black people, and it's just like, I feel so out of place.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I got on my mics, just like my tight fit clothes, just like, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody like, who is this young woman?
Yeah, how you know about this?
Yeah. And they got to talking, man, and it was everything that she said it was. And I just got so excited because I'm like, yo, this is my out. This is my out right here. Like, this it. And I registered, you know what I mean, to meet with my mortgage counselor. I went to my my first the seminar, I think it was in November. I registered to meet with my mortgage counselor next month. I went and sat with him in December. And he went over, you know, everything that I needed with me. He was like, yo, I'm glad you're looking to get you a multi-unit or whatever the case may be. I'm going to do everything in my power to help you close or whatever. You just got to listen to me. And he gave me the game. And I ended up closing on a 4-unit property in a beautiful neighborhood in Chicago called Forest Park, just outside of the city. Amenities were buses, trains. You got a shopping center across the street, bus lines right next door, like parks, school systems are amazing. Everything that a tenant could want, they have it there. And the rents are amazing. So I get a property. It's a 4-unit. 3 of the units are occupied. 1 is available for me. Like I said, the most perfect situation.
Yeah.
The cost on the property was $360,000. Like I told y'all, I saved about $12,000 right before I started. By the time I got through the program to whereas when I closed, it was about a 6-month process. I started in December and I closed in May. I had got up to about $15,000 because as you're going through the process, you know, you still saving money and doing what you need to do. And I had got up to about $15,000. And the day that I closed, it was great because I had been looking for properties and I just couldn't find them. Like, you know how the property buying process is. Everybody think it's sweet, but it's really not.
It's
like,
not
it's
sweet.
hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's stressful. It's like grueling. It's emotional. Like, it's all of these things. But at the end of it, like, it's just like, damn, finally. Like, you know what I mean? And I had went through so much, I was almost ready to quit a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would bump heads with my mortgage counselor. Y'all ain't this, y'all ain't that. Whole time, a lot of times, I'm in my own way. My documents not in order. I'm not turning stuff in on the right time. Like, I feel like I did this when I didn't do it. Like, it's just like a lot of stuff that I could have just, you know, when they request something, I could have just sent it in. You know what I mean? And then, too, a lot of times, NACA just not going to do what they supposed to do. Mind you, these people are overworked and underpaid. It's a non-for-profit organization, and I'm not doing any better right now, especially by going on all of these podcasts and platforms telling everybody, yo, y'all go to the NACA program and y'all building with no money down. Like, so they're really overwhelmed at this point. But back then, they were already overwhelmed before I even hit the market. You know what I mean? And blessed enough, you know, I had finally got through. And it was crazy because, like I said, I was ready to quit. But one night, I had hit my agent because I was on the MLS looking for properties, and this property showed up. Like I said, a unit was available for me. It was cash flowing the amount that I needed. All the rents were $1,000 a month, which was exactly what I needed to qualify for a 4-unit property or whatever the case may be. And I called my agent in the middle of the night. He wasn't answering the phone, so I kept calling him. I called him like 10 times. He finally answered. He's like, man, why you keep calling me? You know I don't do this. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, oh, the black guy. Like, man, you know I don't do this. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, check your email. Then he was like, whoa. He was like, you're right. He's like, I'm going to write the offer up right now. So when the seller's agent get in the morning, the first offer that they see on their, you know what I mean, on their email. And we wrote it up and they accepted it. But the crazy thing is, and mind you, like, I'm on a high, y'all, because I'm on my educational high. Like, I'm still working. I'm still, you know, reading all these books. All that. So I'm like on 10, like, oh, yo, we got a contract. And the same day, I got a Rich Dad, Poor Dad seminar. Like, so I'm turned up. I'm like, yo, I just got a contract on my first property. I'm going to go to this Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
We went to that tonight. A couple years ago, too.
You know what I'm saying? And then, like, as I'm sitting in the seminar, and it's one of those seminars, you know, the ones they warm you up to try to get like $50,000.
In the back, I was ready to go.
I was like, are you shitting me? There's no way.
And they do amazing at that.
I was ready to go.
Because they will have you pull like,
Child,
man, like.
But this is before we didn't even paid off debt or anything. So mindset was like, there's no way.
Like, listen, they gas you so good. Like, I almost went and had them pull a line of credit. Like, bro, like.
We could get your credit today.
Yeah, but something stopped me. And as I'm sitting there, my agent calls me about 5 times this time. And I'm not not answering the phone. So I finally step out like, hey, Dwayne, what's going on? He's like, man, I got some bad news. I'm like, bad news? You just gave me the best news of my life earlier. He was like, well, this is what happened. The wife was home to sign the contract, but the husband was at work.
Okay.
And as the husband was on the way home to sign the contract, another offer came in. So our offer wasn't really
null and
accepted
void.
because the husband never signed the contract. So now he like, we got to compete with a cash offer.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And I'm like, did we lose? He like, nah, they actually said, first thing in the morning to have your highest and your best offer in. So I'm like, yo, offer an extra 20 bands. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, all right, cool. So the next day, I get a call in the morning. He's like, listen, man, you owe me. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Thank you. So we got the contract. We get through the process, inspections, all of that stuff. Everything works out. We get to the closing table, y'all. And like I said, by this time, I saved up about $15,000 because I was saving through the process. So I get to the closing table. I don't have to pay anything out of pocket. In addition to me not having to pay anything out of pocket, they gave me a $5,000 check because of a seller's concession, because I worked it out to where the seller gave me $10,000 back at the closing table to help me with the closing costs. I didn't need it all. I used some of the money to buy the interest rate down to 2.5%. In addition to I got the keys to my property. In addition to that, it was the end of the month. So all of the tenants paid me rent the same day. In addition to that, it was a Friday, so I got my check from my job. So I went from making $26,000 a year to having about $26,000 cash in my account.
How that Friday? What'd you do that weekend? Let's talk about that
Can
weekend.
you say it on the podcast?
Yeah, so really, like, I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I went and bought me a Jag.
Okay.
Like I went and bought me a Jaguar.
Wait.
Jaguar car? I didn't expect that.
All right, hold on. We are talking about reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. We talking about investing in assets. We talking about we not buying liabilities. You just got checks on checks on checks, and the first thing you bought was a liability.
Mind you,
Okay.
I took most of the money and invested it into the stock market.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
The Jag was my reward.
Okay.
Because
I mean, you got your reward quick.
Yeah, real fast. Because what happened was also, the rent's coming in, there was cash flow left over. And with the cash flow, I was able to pay the bills on the property and also pay my car note. So now my building is taking care of my entire lifestyle on top of me still having my job. Then, not only that, as I'm going through the process, I had a girl at the time, and I would take her to my meetings with me. And my mortgage counselor, we was cool. And he was like, y'all serious? Like this finna be a thing? I'm like, yeah. He's like, look, so this the play on how y'all get wealthy fast. After you close, y'all hold off on getting married if that's y'all plan, and you bring her back and get another one. And by this time, I knew the program. I knew all the ins and outs of everything. And we took her back about 3 years later. Mind you, my money was going crazy in the stock market. Trump had got in office, and that thing was just
It was running. It was running.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I had put like 15 bands in there. Like,
y'all could want who y'all want to win these elections, but when it came to the money, the money was moneying.
Listen, so that 15 in about 3 years had turned into like 27, and we needed every bit of that to qualify for her property because I took her to a neighborhood where the properties were $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And with NACA, what I knew was they qualify you for higher amounts based on the amount of units that you go for. So, for example, a single family home, you might be able to max out at $300,000. A 2-unit, you might be able to do $500,000. A 3-unit, they might give you $750,000, but for a 4-unit, they'll give you up to $950,000. So now I'm like, I know this, and then I know how to qualify for the properties because on a multi-unit property, they don't qualify you for the same way that they do on a single-family home. And this is why I teach people to, if you're going to go get you a multi-unit property, look for properties that have people living in it already and their cash flowing. Because what will happen is the bank, they'll take 75% of the income that the building is already generating, and they'll add it to your money. Okay. As income. So you may look at a multi-unit like, man, I can't afford that. That's $1 million property. But if each unit in that building is making $2,000, you know what I mean? That's $6,000. And let's say the mortgage is $4,000, but as a worker at your job, you're only making $3,000 a month. on that $6,000, they're going to take 75% of that, whatever that number is, add it to your income. Let's say just $3,000. So now that mortgage is more than affordable once that money is added to your income on top of you having cash left over.
All right, hold on. We got to slow that one down. We got to go back to that. So when you buy a multi-unit, they take the amount of money that you can make per unit,
Yep.
and they add that to your current working money.
Yep.
And that
Add it
becomes
how? Like add it when you're at the table? Add it where?
just like
Like
how
what you
they're
could qualify
calculating
for?
what you can qualify
Oh,
for.
what you can qualify for. Got it.
Exactly. So like I said, if
So
the
if you use the
mortgage-
6 and 3, then they say you can qualify for 9,000.
$9,000 a month.
Yep. So and then like just I'll break it down
okay.
even simpler. So for example, let's say the building is generating $4,000 and the mortgage on the building is $2,500, but you're making $2,000 at your job. They're going to take $3,000, which is 75% of that $4,000, add it to your $2,000. Now you're making $5,000, which makes that, like I say, $2,500 mortgage way more than affordable. You have $2,500 left over at the end of the month. To do whatever you
buy a
want.
Jaguar if you want.
Yeah, like
Buy the Jag.
and now this is your monthly cash flow coming in. Like now you just turned something that would have been a liability into an asset because you get to live for free. You have cash flow coming in. It appreciates in value on top of somebody else paying your mortgage down. And then at the end of it, not only have you collected cash flow for 20 or 30 years every month, you get all of this appreciation that other people paid for on the sale. And for me, that's 100% profit because I didn't pay anything ever.
Because no cash down and no closing costs.
You get what I'm saying?
So I just showed up.
I just showed up and did what they
Sign
told
what I
me
have
to
to
do.
sign.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. And then I did the same thing with my lady. Like I said, I took her up north and we got a property that was, I think at the time we paid $879 for it, but the ARV on it was like $960. Right now that thing like worth 1.2. Like we got that in 2018. And how we were able to get that one was because, like I said, we took advantage of the interest rate buy down. We used, I think.
What is interest rate buy down mean?
So you can, with NACA, they allow you to take cash up front and pay them to buy your interest rate down lower. And interest rates, people don't really realize how much interest rates factor into your mortgage payment, but like just to give you guys an example, so I bought my interest rate down on that second property from 3.5% to 0.8%. Yeah, y'all heard that right, 0.8%.
For just with just $5,000, or you gave them?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
On this one,
Okay.
I'm gonna get to that. On this one, we had to give them, I think it was like $110,000.
Okay.
But the thing was, it wasn't all
0.8,
our money. You know what I'm saying? We got $40,000 from the seller. Told you my money was running in the stock market, so I took that money out of the stock market.
It was Trump's
and she
money.
had some money. You know what I'm saying? So we put it all together to buy the interest rate down to 0.8, and giving them that $110,000, we got the principal down and the interest down, and that interest rate buy down saved us over a 30-year term about $475,000 just by giving them that up front.
So why does everybody know about this? Like this seems like too easy. This seems like
It's not easy at all. Let me put that out there right now.
Okay.
It's not easy at all. It's not an easy process. No mortgage buying process is easy, but NACA can sometimes be extremely difficult because, like I said, they are understaffed. But again, I knew the power of this program. Somebody told me essentially, hey, you can go get property for nothing.
But you went from not having any real estate to becoming a real estate investor in one move. Like you had 3 units, you had 3 tenants. Like how did that? Because that got to change your something about you. Because now you're managing people. You're managing not just people. You're managing a business at this point.
It was just I was prepared for it because mind you, like I said,
'Cause you read the
I
books.
had been sitting in this cubicle for a year reading this whole stuff. So when the opportunities came, I was sitting there like
I've been waiting for
like
this.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
like it
Check
was,
me in,
yeah, like
tag
put
me in.
coach. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Watch me go crazy real quick. Like, you
So
know
you
what
were
I'm
ready
saying?
to be a landlord. You were ready for all these things.
All of this
Okay.
because I'm like, this is my way out. I have been struggling trying to figure out what I'm going to do now that I can't rap or play sports.
Right.
And I'm like, I hit my, like, this was my move. Like, what? Like, oh man, like, bro, like, I'm gonna go crazy with this.
And why couldn't you just do another one? Like, why did you have to go through your girlfriend?
Because you can only buy one. I mean, it's too good for them to just they don't believe in like allowing investors to go through their program. But what I teach people is you can still be an investor. One of their rules is you have to occupy the property. You know what I'm saying? It has to be your primary residence. So what I teach people is, look, use NACA's program, the no down payment, low all that, no interest fees, all that stuff, to go get you in a beautiful, amazing property. Live in it.
Yeah.
And all the money that you saved, go invest it. Go be an investor with that.
Okay.
Like, you don't have to.
So this has to be your first home, and you have to live in it.
And it doesn't even necessarily have to be your first home. Some people can refinance out of a higher interest rate loan into NACA's lowest interest rate in the country. And also you can do a renovation loan with the NACA program as well. So they have two different other ways for you to get involved with the program outside of being a first-time home buyer.
Okay.
But most times people take advantage of the first-time home buyer option more than anything.
Okay. No, that's important.
Yeah, we literally went through the NACA program. When I say people talk about
You
the
were
challenge,
on it.
we ran through that program because I knew the challenges by Googling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We already had decent things in place, but we got caught up at the finish line because we had
A rental property.
We had just bought a rental property.
Yeah.
And that's
And
what
then
I
when we
said,
came
okay,
back-
cool.
But also, and it may not, and this may be a
They
stigma.
didn't ask us the first time.
No,
we
they
didn't
didn't,
know.
they didn't tell us that it was an issue.
Yeah.
Or that it was a thing. Like, oh, you'll need, this needs to be your first
And
home.
y'all had it in y'all name, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
we came back around, it's like, yeah, you could have did it this
You could
way.
have put it in the business name. Yeah.
You talk about the program being a little, they're working things out.
So this is why I created my webinar, because they're not allowed to tell
Share
you certain things and to steer you in a particular direction. I don't work for NACA. I
Yeah.
can tell you whatever the hell I want to tell you about the program. Like, yo, this is what I did and this is what worked for me.
Right.
This is how y'all run the play. They can't tell you this. So NACA loves me. But at the same time, NACA knows, like, I'm like Batman out here. Like, you know how the police,
Yeah.
they love Batman and
But we
Gotham
can't
City?
promote
But
you
it's
like that.
Yeah, I can't really, like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
can't get behind it all the
because
way.
you really a renegade out here. You teaching me how to become an investor through our program when all we really trying to do is just, like, balance out neighborhoods. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So
like,
that was my
another
point.
thing,
That was
too.
the stigma I was going to get to, because the neighborhoods that they were telling us that we could go into was a
we
no
had
for
to
me.
go into.
That we had to go, it was a no for me
and
living.
that's crazy, because in Chicago, they didn't tell me that I couldn't go into any neighborhood. They told
we was
me
in 2014. We were in 2019, no, maybe 2017.
18?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think the thing was maybe because I was so damn poor, like they were just like, you can just go do whatever you want.
And we were married, yeah, we had combined
Probably
incomes.
had combined
We did, and we
incomes
were going for, like you said, the four
units.
That we were
Top
going
of
for
the
the
top.
4 unit,
Yeah,
top of the
Top of the top.
Yeah.
I ain't really rich dad poor them. I knew a little something.
And even a realtor had showed us a spot. I'm like, I ain't living in this. Like, I'm sorry. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, from the projects, but I got certain standards. I left the projects. I don't live there anymore. Like, and I'm like, it wasn't a bad, but it wasn't a neighborhood that I would want to
a
be
great
in
property, but
or
the
feel
neighborhood-
comfortable. Yeah,
get it.
it had the same thing. Like you said, it had cash. It was cash flow. It had other people living in other units, and I'm like, nah, my dog is not even can't
Y'all
run
was
through
probably
this. So
y'all was
it was
probably
like,
non-priority members then. When like y'all had,
Can you
like,
explain that?
So they have priority members and non-priority members, and non-priority members are people who have pretty much higher incomes, whereas y'all don't need NACA. We know y'all are just trying to take
like
advantage
nice
of the
to have,
program.
yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they'll let y'all go through the program, but you're gonna have a little bit of a higher interest rate. You know what I'm saying? The people who have lower income, they're not going to convince you, but they're not going to let you buy in a neighborhood where the median income is higher than yours, because NACA's goal is to, like I say, balance
Balance
out
the neighborhood.
neighborhoods. So they'll let a person like me who makes $26,000 a year move into $1 million neighborhood.
That makes
because,
sense.
you know what I mean? Like I said, they want that neighborhood's kind of like income level to kind of like come down, but they'll make a person who makes $500,000 a year buy in a median income neighborhood of $100,000, so that income can come up, and that's how you kind of, like I say, level out communities, and you don't have that, oh, I don't want to live in this neighborhood,
Yeah.
or I don't want to live in that. Everything is the same.
Everything
at
is
this
the
point.
same.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's their goal. It's impossible to do it.
I was gonna
get
say,
it,
'cause everything
but,
ain't the same.
Like, yeah,
from Chicago to
like,
Brooklyn,
you know
from
what I'm
Dallas
saying?
to Dallas, everything is not the same.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really difficult to do that, but I get
That's
it,
the goal.
and they helped me, like,
Yeah.
a motherfucker. So it's like I will never ever
we
complain about it.
we talk about NAC, like literally I told my friend when we went through this program and I learned about it, I was like, yo, y'all need to go. And I was promoting you. I was like, yo, this is what I know, but this guy knows this stuff. He can tell you what you could do as a single person, as a married person, the challenges. So let's talk about we talking about the people who got 9 to 5s. They're like, all right, I heard about this NACA program. Seems too good to be true. What do I need? You mentioned the seminars, but maybe webinars at this point.
Yeah.
What do I need to do in order to get in this program? Like, all right, I got everything ready to go.
Man, man.
Because I think that was the biggest challenge, and not having things ready to go. Because every time the kid comes, he's like, I submitted this. You didn't see that I submitted this. He was getting tight.
I swear to God. And I don't know what it is about black people when somebody asks us to redo something. Man,
especially when you know you did it.
It's damn near like, yo, I will quit before I send this shit back in. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What they always say, like, since we were working a 9 to 5, what do they want from us? Like your
W-2s.
They want your W-2s and everything. They want your
check.
bank statements every single month. As soon as they come out, they want your check stub as soon as it comes
check
out.
stub.
And what'll happen is, let's say you'll send it for 3 weeks in a row. You might miss a 4th week, then you send it 3 weeks after that. In your mind, you sent all of them. You missed one, but you don't think you missed one. And they're like, yeah, I have this one, and this one. And you're like, nah, I sent you all that. And now it's this big back and forth thing. And now your mortgage counselor's like, all right, I don't got time for this. Let me move on to my next
And then, like you said, they're understaffed. So there's times he's calling. It's just like, oh, she out of the office, so our paperwork can't move forward.
So with me, so look, and this is the cool part about me. And like I would go to the office, right, and I would just have like these like really like grimacing looks on my face and just have really bad energy. Then one day, this lady at the front desk pulled me to the side. Lydia, I love you. If you ever see this interview, thank you so much for your advice. She was like, come here, baby, let me talk to you. She was like, if you want to get your deal done, you got to really be on these people's ass. Like, you got to come in here and knock stuff off the desk, stand on tables, like, really let them know, like, to stop playing with you because you need to get your deal done. If you need to switch mortgage counselors, switch mortgage counselors. Like, if you need to talk to the higher-ups, send emails to Bruce, whatever you need to do, you got to do it.
Who's
that's
Bruce?
The only way. He's the CEO of NACA. He's the owner of NACA. Like he's
Is he a black man or a white man?
No, he's a white guy.
Oh, okay.
Like he's a lawyer who created the NACA program, and he's like really, really aggressive, like with banks and like corporate like landlords and shit like that. He's like really an over the top guy, but he created the program, and Bank of America has given him billions of dollars to help people like, you know what I'm saying, us like in our communities and stuff like that. So it's just like crazy that I had to go through the stuff that I had to go through. But at the end of the day, what I always tell people is you're essentially asking these people for hundreds of thousands of dollars for nothing. They're going to put your ass through the ringer.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying to you? Like, just
nothing in
imagine,
life comes easy.
Imagine if you went to your mom, your dad, your aunt, like the closest people in your family, and you asked them for this kind of money. They're going to put you through the ringer. So what do you think these strangers at the bank are going to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just that simple. And we have to understand that things like this are going to be a process. Like, you're trying to attain 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, sometimes up to $1 million asset.
That was us.
It is not going to be easy. You hear about deals going bad all the time. You hear about NBA contracts, negotiations going bad all the time. When you're dealing with this much money, it is not going to be a smooth and easy process because nobody wants to feel like they got ever.
Yeah. So
until all sides come to terms and feel like, okay, this is a win-win for everybody, you're going to have to grind it out. And that's just what it is with anything. People are like, oh, well, I left NACA and I went to FHA and they gave me way more money. It's like, yeah, of course they pushed you through because you had that 3.5% down payment on top of that PMI and all that extra money that you had to pay. Hell yeah, they pushed you through because they want their check.
Yeah.
They want their main goal is to get their check. So they're going to push you through as fast as possible because at the end of the day, I'm getting something for this. NACA ain't in no rush. It's like, hey, man, like,
this is what we got.
Get there when we get there.
Is there a limit as to how much somebody can make for them applying to NACA, or really anybody?
I think it's really anybody. Like, if you make NBA money or something like that,
okay,
of course you can't do it.
Right.
But if we talking like if you're making 100, 150, I think you can still do it. But like I said, you just won't be a priority.
A priority for them.
Yeah.
Because they know.
That's a really good point too. Like you mentioned, the challenges going through NACA, and I'm still for it. I'm like, we had challenges.
It 6 months to close on my first deal.
And that changed your life. So I'm assuming that's what made you become such an advocate for them, because you on their Instagram a few times. And I'm like, y'all didn't go to his other posts and see what he talking about.
They keep jacking my posts and slapping them on their page. I had to DM somebody like, yo, that's why I posted that. I'm like, y'all must love me. And they was like, we do. We see what you're doing. We love what you're doing. Like, we see that you've learned the process and how you're teaching the process, and we appreciate it. Like, thank you for being a NACA member first. And as one of their obligations when you go through the program is to advocate for the program. And at this point, I'm probably their biggest advocate. They probably should be cutting me checks at this point because I'm like a NACA ambassador. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm speaking on the biggest platforms in the world talking about NACA. Y'all don't have nobody at y'all office doing this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They just trying to listen. They barely can pick up the phone.
You know what I'm saying? Like y'all not
one thing at a time.
even responding to emails.
One thing at a
Like,
time.
you know what I'm saying to you?
Social media, we just get into.
Yeah, they just get into social media. And what they're telling me is, I had somebody reach out to me like, yo, we love the content that you post on social media. And compared to the content that's being posted on our page, you are light years ahead of what we are doing. And we need your kind of content so that we can appeal to a younger audience.
crowd. Yeah,
Because
I said that.
like, you know what I'm
when we were
saying?
looking at the page, I'm like, look who's on here.
It's a great bunch of grandmas, right?
And they close to the.
And they in church. Like,
Yo.
and they all in church with like their church dresses on. Like, and they just
close to
like,
the camera.
Man,
What's
it's
up,
like,
man?
yo, like, and y'all really want young people to come to our
Right.
program
Right.
like with this? Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm making videos with hip hop music in the back. I got on my
Right.
mics, I got on my chain, and I'm really popping like heavy NACA talk. Like,
But,
you know what I mean?
but it's important for what you're doing because, you know, for our generation that we have no idea, many of us want to get our first home or just get into that, and you don't have the money. That's what you hear people talk about all the time. Like, you don't have, people are wrapped up in student loans and other things. They don't have the money to get a house. So it's like a dream that doesn't happen.
Like I told y'all, it saved my life because they allowed me to not only get into home ownership, but essentially real estate investing. They left me with a big bag of money after I closed, which allowed me to go reinvest into the stock market, real estate. I have my own brand. I have a book. I do teaching. I do courses. I'm traveling, speaking everywhere. Like, that started with that first deal. Had I not done that first deal, I wouldn't be here right now. Like, and I tell people all the time, all it takes is one deal. Like, if you do it the right way and you structure it the right way, and this is why I encourage people to go through NACA, because they're not going to allow you to get into a shitty deal ever.
Yeah.
Their main priority is their client. They will tell you to walk away from a deal. They will not fund the deal. They will do everything in their power to make sure that you're well off. That's why it takes so long, because in order to protect you and make sure you're good, they got to, go through everything with a fine-tooth comb, cross their T's, dot their I's, everything, because they know what they're doing is not standard and it's not normal. But it's the best for the client. And that's why I teach people, and that's why I preach this shit so hard, because everybody's so into instant gratification. And I'm just like, yo, you would rather pay $40,000 in closing costs for convenience than to wait an extra 3 months? You know what that $40K can do for you and your family? Now you just went and got a property and you got to sleep on a mattress on the floor because you can't afford to even put furniture in your crib because you just spent it all on closing costs.
That's it.
And what's the stigma that you've heard about NACA that's not true, right? Is there anything that you've heard that's like, no, that's not
stuff
true?
People be saying be true. I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna lie. Most of the stuff people be saying be true, but you just gotta push through.
Yeah, your thing is just like, you gotta be patient. They're giving you a boatload of money.
It's a patience game.
Yeah, you just gotta be patient.
Patience is a virtue. Like, good things come to those who wait. All of those cliche ass sayings, they're very true in certain circumstances. And this is one of them.
And is there any person that you say shouldn't go through a program like this at all?
Somebody that's in a rush.
That's it.
Anybody that's in a rush.
You need a home tomorrow.
If you're in a rush,
Yeah.
or if you just, have entitlement issues or just like ego and pride issues, you feel like people owe you, man, stay away from this program.
This ain't it.
This ain't it.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
'Cause these
I
people,
felt
they're not gonna
entitled.
move fast.
I felt
they're
entitled.
Not going to,
Well, you don't have any patience.
I don't have any patience.
Let's be clear. That's the first thing you
I
just
felt
said. Somebody in a
entitled.
rush.
I had all my stuff ready to go.
Yeah, that was
And then I got there, I was like, yeah, you just bought a property, bro. I was like, all right, cool.
You're like, so why you let me waste this time?
But I still preach it because there is so many of us. Like, I think two of my close friends went through NACA, and there's so many
We
of
have
us.
a couple that's going through it now.
Another couple, and I'm like, there's so many of us that we had that American home dream. We moved to these high price areas, and we can't afford this stuff.
can't afford it,
we can't,
man.
and we get priced out easily.
And as soon as something goes wrong, you ain't got the money to fix your roof, your HVAC system. You ain't got the money to fix your water heater. And NACA sets you up to be okay to do all of that. Like I said, they left me with a big bag of money, bro. On top of a property, on top of me still having my job. They made sure that I was well off around the board.
All right.
And how long do you have to be in that property? They say you have to live in it. Is there a certain amount of time?
Forever.
You have to stay there forever. Okay.
Or you can refinance out of it after 5 years, because what they do is they put a 5-year lien on the property, because again, NACA's main thing is, like I say, economic, you know what I'm saying, just balance or whatever. So they don't want you to try to use their program to become an investor. And I gave the player on how to use it to become an investor.
Right.
You do what you want to do with that information. But they want you to live there for the life of the loan. And there are certain circumstances where you can kind of get out of it. Like, you know, if your family's growing, you may have outgrown your apartment and stuff like that. And after 5 years, what happens is, like I said, they have a lien on the property for 5 years, $25,000.
What does the lien mean?
Just if you sell it, you owe them that money.
Okay.
So every year, $5,000 drops off the lien, though. So after the 5th year, you're lien free. So you can kind of refinance, sell it, do whatever you need to do with it to get a NACA loan. You know what I mean? And then that way you can kind of like start your process over. But me, in my situation, I have a 2.5% interest rate.
I was gonna say, why
0.8% interest. I'm not refinancing nothing.
I was gonna say
I might do a home equity line of credit or something like that, because I have a ton of equity in both properties. But refinancing, this is pretty much free money.
Nah, that's it. And you, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So, was this just the start of your? This was the start of your entrepreneurial journey, or do you have more investment properties, or you got the two and that's it?
This was the start of my entrepreneurial journey. Like I said, in addition to the 2 buy-in holes that I have my brand Mindset Matters.
With the other property, is that a 4-unit as well?
So listen. This one is amazing.
And where's that one at?
It's in like one of the best neighborhoods in Chicago. It's called Wicker Park / Bucktown. It's called West Town. It's a combination of 4 neighborhoods.
You said up north. I'm thinking East Coast, up coast.
No. Like in this neighborhood, like everything is within walking distance. Restaurants, food, buses, trains. Again, like I'm very intentional about how and where I buy property. I want to offer the best amenities to my tenants, because when you do that, it's hard for them to leave. Yeah. I'm like, I love my apartment. I love it over here. Like most times people are only leaving because their kids going to a high school that they want them to go in a different district. They may have gotten pregnant or something like that. Their family is growing. Like, I don't have people that are leaving because they're not happy with where they are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody might have got a new job in a new state, something like that. And this one, like I said, it is in one of the probably top 3 neighborhoods in the city. And it's cool because it's considered a 4-unit, but there's a 3-unit building and there's a big house on the lot. Y'all call them ADUs in New York. Yeah. In Chicago, we call them coach houses. So the 3-unit building, each unit is generating about $1,800 a month in rent. And these are small apartments. We talking like 1 bedroom, 1.5 bedrooms, but they're laid out nice, granite, you know what I mean, stainless steel, everything, washer, dryer, inside, all of that. But the house, immaculate. Just 4 floors.
It's a big house. I'm thinking like a small. It's a big house on the lot.
Most of them are.
You got like the back house or something like that.
The house is the same size as the building.
I'm thinking like a little garage unit. Nah.
So the house has a garage and everything.
Oh, all right.
So so it's 4 floors. So you got the basement, the main floor, the bedroom floors, and then you got the rooftop deck. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because the person who sold it to us was a developer. He built it. He was living
there.
Yeah, but he was older. You see, I accidentally got my wife pregnant. They had young kids. That by the time the baby started walking, the stairs were too dangerous. They floating stairs throughout it's amazing. You know what I mean? Floating stairs, 12-foot coffer sittings. Like he really decked it out, but it was dangerous for kids. Yeah. So him and his wife decided to move and sell it. And we bought it, and just to see that I can get that kind of property with NACA, like I'm just like, yo, I have to go and tell everybody about this because, like, this is crazy to me. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, I went from $26,000 to having a net worth of almost $2 million. In addition to that, it's giving me amazing relationship with you guys, relationship with other Dallas members of our crew, Byron, Henry Washington. I did a fix and flip deal with Henry. I've done the wholesale deals. Like, it's giving me relationships where I've learned, and not only learned, but went out and taken action and made money from the information just from being around these people. And again, I credit all of this to me doing that first NACA deal, because had I not, I wouldn't be able to have a brand based on teaching people NACA, which is what people are familiar with me for.
Now I know NACA's played a big part of your life, but I think a lot of it has to do with your personality, what you bring to NACA. Like
it's not them. It is definitely me.
You brought a lot of awareness. You brought a lot of awareness to this program in a different type of way. Because I'll go through the content, I'm like, this ain't hitting like that. So you're bringing this awareness. You're bringing situational awareness. People are like, all right, he looks like me, sounds like me, dresses like me.
Representation is major. And mind y'all, like, I come from the projects and shit, but I'm super smart. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very intentional about all of this shit. Like, I know exactly how I look. I know who my demographic is. I know who I'm talking to. I know why I'm speaking the way that I'm speaking. Like, everything that I'm doing is extremely intentional because our communities don't have real representation. And a lot of the people who are considered the people who represent us, like, bro, you didn't damn near blew up too big to where you're not even the representation no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Way out of our
you're
reach.
way out of our reach at this point. So now, like, we finally got somebody who's just like just somebody that's just down. Like, dude, like, bro, just solid. Like, he come on live smoking his weed. Like, he got his mics on. He talking his shit. Like, he trading in the stock market. He cool. Like, he ain't too over the top.
I missed those Renaissance reports too.
Man, bro,
that
like,
was
so listen,
Renaissance reports was dope.
So Andre Hatchett, he pulled me to the side one day. He's like, bro, I know you having fun. I know people love it. He's like, but you got to stop. He's like, you got to niche down to NACA because at this point, you're swimming in the red ocean with that. He's like, you can go and build a whole brand off of that because nobody else out here is doing that. He's like, you know how many people are talking about the stock market? You know how many people are just talking about general real estate? You know how many people are talking about fixing and flipping, wholesaling? He's like, bro, nobody is talking about NACA. And that was probably some of the best advice somebody had ever gave me for my brand. And I love Andre Hatchett for that. Bro, I love you. Thank you. Because it has grown into like just this snowball of just like love and just like changing people's lives and just like interviews and talking on
just
stages
down.
and just like all of these cool things because I'm telling people about a program that I use to buy a property. Like,
We seem so small, but it's not because people don't know about it. People don't know enough about it. And if they do, they don't know anybody that been through it either. You just hear the negative. I promise you just hear the negative about it. So to hear a positive or something good coming out of it, it's just different.
And when people try to come at me with the negative, I be like, bro, you just mad because you quit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause at the end of the day, everybody who closed, they like, yo, I love my NACA property. They like, my 1.5% interest rate, my this, I didn't pay any closing costs. Like, I love it. It's only the people who quit the program who talk crazy about the program. That's it. People who have won with the program, who are winning with the program, they're like, nah, dude, keep talking your stuff because you right on, because I feel the same way you do. And that's like really the stuff that like keeps me going when people reach out to me and let me know like, nah, bro, like you're doing it the right way. Like, even though this isn't the standard of NACA, this is what we need because they're not even doing it the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what you're doing and how you're presenting this to people, this is what we need.
So that means they need to hire you. You hear that, NACA? They need to hire
Cut the check.
you.
CTC, baby, cut the check.
But I want to make sure, because I know you said that you have other brands. I do want to make sure that our audience get to hear, like, what else do you do?
Yeah, so,
I mean, because you don't work for NACA, like you said.
I know.
So what else do you have going on outside of that? I know you said you own other properties. Like, how many other properties? What else are you doing?
So those two are the only ones that I own as far as buying hoes. Like I said, I did a fix and flip with my buddy Henry in Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas is going crazy right now. I've done a wholesale deal with just like by myself in Chicago and Maywood last year. Like I say, all of the stuff that I've been learning from like taking courses and just being around everybody. Like,
implementing it,
stuff,
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been making money. I've written a book, Renaissance's 5-Step Guide on Getting Your Shit Together, because my main thing is mindset. And if you don't have your mind right, nothing is ever going to go right for you. And before you get into money, before you get into trucking, before you get into a cleaning business, before you get into stocks, anything, get your mind in order. Go pick up a book, learn, educate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Take calculated risks. Don't gamble. There's a major difference. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people don't know the difference between the two. And for me, like, that's been like just my priority to kind of teach people and get people to understand there is a level of patience, there's a level of just like progression that goes on with everything that you're trying to do, regardless of what it is. You don't eat the fruit the same day you plant the seed. Like, you know what I'm saying? There has to be some seasonality. You got to go through your winter season, you got to go through your sun season, you got to go through your rain season, and then the seed sprouts, and it's still a growth process even in that. Like, for me, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a real estate investor, any of these things, man, you got to put in at least minimum 5 years if you want to be successful. That's the bare minimum. Like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Nope. You need a minimum of 5. And I'm sure anybody who's in business can vouch for that, because initially what you're doing is you're paying in. Like, so you're in debt. Like, when you start your business, you're in debt, whether you borrowing money or you using your own money. You know what I'm saying?
Or your
like,
time.
Yeah, like your time, you're in debt. Like, and it's going to take you some time to recoup all of that. And not only recoup it, to go into the actual green to where now you're profiting. That's going to take a long time, because initially the first few years, you're paying not only to create a product, you have to build the product, you have to brand and market the product. Like, this all takes time, because as you're going, you're learning. You're making mistakes, you're losing money. Like, so you're not, again, 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
It may seem like a long time,
Like,
but it's not.
It goes by fast when you're being active and you're actually being productive. You know what I'm saying? And like, you look back and you be like, damn, like, I remember when I was just trying to figure this out and learn this, and now here I am. I'm monetizing this now.
Oh,
like, this
you made
money.
me think. So when did you leave the telemarketing job? I just thought about this.
You went all the way back
I just
there.
thought about that because you
listen.
said I'm making money, so I'm like, I just thought about that. How long did you stay there, though?
Listen, the story with that is so
After
funny,
the Jaguar,
right?
you was driving up there. They're
So
like, where you
listen.
get that from?
Listen, all that. Right? So listen, I worked the telemarketing job for about 7 years, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I left in, I think it was 2016. So I was there from 2009 to 2016.
Okay.
And the way that I left was because, mind you, I had my building, I had my Jag, and I'm like, at this point, I'm driving better cars than the owners. Like, I'm the top sales guy in the building, so I'm walking around that chest out. Like, y'all can't tell me nothing, right? So after a while, you know, about a year me owning my building, I feel like I'm the owner in the place at this point, right? So the job sells the business to somebody else, and you know, when you're doing telemarketing, you know, they like monitor your calls and stuff like that. They kept pulling me in the office. Hey, Andre, the new owners don't like the way you're doing the pitch or whatever. But like, I've been killing with this pitch for years. What y'all talking about? It doesn't matter. They don't like it. Okay. So I kept doing my thing because I'm killing. Like, it don't matter. Like, I'm the greatest.
Making the money.
I'm the greatest of all time. What y'all saying? So the one last time they pulled me in the office, like, hey, Andre, look, unfortunately, upper management has decided to let you go. You know what I mean? You're not changing. We've pulled you in. We've warned you. You know, we love you. We care about you, whatever. But you being so stubborn or whatever the case may be. And I knew it was time for me to go.
It was coming.
It was just, it's a wrap. Like, y'all, like, I got my
good.
property. Like, I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything going on for me right now. And they pull me in the office, like, you know, we got to let you go or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. So I leave out. I'm a little emotional because I had been there for a while. Like, I had built relationships, friendships, all of that. So
Emotional? You was like crying?
Nah, I wasn't crying.
I'm just cool. I'm just asking. I want to know how emotional are we talking here?
You're about to hear how emotional I was. So as I'm leaving, you know what I mean, I'm kind of like making my rounds, saying bye to everybody. Like, man, y'all, they just let me go. They like, what? They let you go? I'm like, yeah, man. You know, they said I wasn't doing right on the phone or whatever. So the lady who had just fired me, she was an older white lady, real like crude look, face, like just real bad energy or whatever the case may be. So she came up behind me and grabbed me on my shoulder, and she's like, no, you can't do that. What?
You can't say goodbye?
So I'm like, first off, get your filthy hands off me.
Right, gonna touch you.
Like, get your filthy hands off me. That's the first thing. And mind y'all, I had just came from lunch, right? So I had a big ass red Wendy's fruit punch in my hand, right? So I'm like, get your hands off of me. Like, don't fucking touch me.
Yeah, why would she touch you?
I'm like, don't touch me.
But
But then, like, I turn around. I'm like, man, everybody in here, all y'all weak as hell. Like, y'all ain't never did shit
You
for
went
me.
from going, you went from being like, oh, thank you, you know, have fun, guys. F this place. I don't
like
flipping the table over.
F you, you cool. like, yeah. So, and then, mind you, next thing I know, there's this big white blank wall. Man, clocked my hand back, dude, through the big soda on the wall. It splashed red everywhere. Man, I dipped up out of the place. I'm like, oh, she gonna call the police. Let me get the fuck out of here. What did you just do? Man, everybody in the job called me like, dude, she crazy. They're here having a frenzy right now trying to get this wall clean. But they not gonna call the police because they understand she shouldn't have put her hands on me.
That was aggressive.
And,
Very
they should have just allowed you to say bye because they know you have these good relationships with everybody here or whatever the case. Man, you put in time, like you put 60-hour weeks, like when nobody else would work, like you were doing overtime, all of these things that they would ask you to do.
But that be their policy though. They'd be like, "You're gone. Your box is ready. Walk out."
And I get that, but it's just like something came over me. It was just like, why are you touching me? And it just that, and it just triggered the South Side of Chicago.
Like, you remember where you came from?
I thought I said in there. Brooklyn, I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah, man.
You remember where you came from?
That's a crazy representation of what the entrepreneurship has done for you. To be able to walk out that job, you know. Better scenario, but walk out that job. You had things lined up. You were ready to go. So that's just. I'm happy that worked out that way for you, man.
Yeah, man. And from there, like I just never looked back, man. It was just like up with my business. Like I said, I ended up helping my girl at the time get a property.
At the time.
Yeah, at the time.
She came up.
Hard.
Okay. Hard. Shout out to her, man.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stories today about women just.
she came up.
But no, listen though, I came up.
But you helped her.
Yeah, so listen.
That was a good thing for her.
This was the play though, because I wouldn't have been able to, do it again without her. So the agreement was, I'm gonna give you the money. You just use your name, etc. Case maybe this is yours, but add me to the deed because if anything ever happens to you, I don't want your mama, your sister,
anybody coming
your
for
daddy to. I don't want it to go to them.
Right.
I gave you the money.
Yeah, it's mine.
So, let me get that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If anything ever happened, but until then, it's yours. And she went a step further and said, "Hey, that's fine. But even if I ever sell it, I'm going to give you half of the money."
That's dope.
Because at this point, you just made me $500,000 just from listening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now it's worth way more than $500,000 her share. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, probably when we sell it, it'll be worth $1 million. You know what I'm saying? We're talking 20 years down the line. So you just made me a millionaire, and I love you for that, and I always love you for that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I live for free.
It's better than a $200 date.
Yeah, it's better than a Louis Vuitton bag. It's better than anything that's going on the internet. Like, you just set me up for life. I never have to settle with dating a man again because, like, I'm straight. Like, boy, you better come correct. Like, I own property. Like, I live like my house is laid. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like. Like, it's just like, she's good. Like, I'm good. Like, and this is how it is. If you're going to do something, even if it doesn't work out, make sure that you left with some type of value add and you didn't leave a person empty. You know what I'm saying? And I'm big on that, and I'm super proud that I was able to do that. And I'm super proud that I'm able to teach and show so many people about this amazing program. No, it's not going to be easy. No, it's not going to be fast. No, it's not going to be just, like, pleasant. But it's going to be worth it.
It's going to be worth it. That's the end goal. It's going to be worth it.
And you've been teaching the game for quite some time now. So I guess we get into that part where you talk about, like, how are you helping people get into NACA or guiding them along the way?
So I host a monthly webinar every month, and I pretty much teach people my entire blueprint on how I ran the play. In addition to that,
and it's more than what we talked about today.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's more than what
I don't like the word
today.
ran the play. Can we change that?
I mean, that's what it was. I ran the play. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, somebody
ran
gave
the
me...
play. I hear that sometimes on Instagram. I'm like, it feels like somebody's being a scammer. I know you're not, though.
Yeah,
in this
like
situation.
He's teaching you how to get into real estate.
The blueprint.
The blueprint.
Even
I like
me,
that.
Like, I say I finessed. Like, because that's pretty much what I did. I jumped through loopholes, and I used the word finesse, like, in the real definition of the word, and handled the situation with care. Like, I really, like, paid attention to see what was going on and how I can really, like, do what I need to do to be the most successful. And shit, I finessed my way to $2 million worth of real estate through NACA, and it's allowed me to do a whole lot of other stuff, you know what I mean, have some amazing relationships, start some dope businesses, and just really grow in a way that I never even thought possible, coming from the south side of Chicago and the Ida B. Wells projects, being adopted, parents having drug issues, all of that. It's just like, damn, like, just looking back at my story, like, wow, you know what I mean?
And outside of the monthly webinar, do you have a course as well that people can tap in with?
So the monthly webinar is a live thing. I also sell that webinar as a course. Like, so the webinar is a one-time thing. The course, you get to keep it forever, watch it over, or whatever the case may be. In addition to that, I always tell people who come to my webinar, now you know about NACA, but your ass still don't know nothing about real estate. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and that's most people's problem. Like, you'll get approved for a loan, but you don't have any education in real estate. So now your agent, your attorney, your mortgage counselor, whoever, they're hijacking your deal and pretty much leading you in whatever direction they want you to go.
Just sign here.
Yeah, just sign here. And you don't have any education in what's going on. So in addition to learning about the NACA program, I encourage people to learn real estate. Go hire you a coach. Go hire you a mentor. buy a course that teaches you the basics, fundamentals of doing a real estate deal, how to go out and analyze neighborhoods, how to do a back of the envelope analysis on running your numbers. Like things like that are extremely important. How to drive through the neighborhoods and see, okay, is this school good? Like, what's the school district like? Do they have grocery stores? Is this a food desert? Like, you know, like these are things that matter, because these are going to determine the quality of tenant that you have in your property. You know what I'm saying? And if people don't know these things and you're just going out buying property because you're approved for a loan, you may end up in a really, really messed up situation. You know what I mean? And I try to encourage people to educate themselves so they just don't end up like that.
Okay. So they could tap in with the webinar. They could tap in with
What's
the course, the book.
Book a one-on-one with me. I have a coaching program, like all of those things.
How do they find you?
At Renaissance 125 across everything, all social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. I'm at Renaissance 125, and you can click the link in my bio and all of those platforms and find whatever you need from me.
And it'll be in our show notes as well, so
Listen, we need to bring back Renaissance Report. Listen, if you guys haven't watched Renaissance Report, I used to get so much entertainment.
We are back.
Nah, man, appreciate all the game, man. I appreciate you coming on our platform, sharing your story, sharing your journey, and sharing more about this program that many of us need to know about, man. It's been, even though it didn't change our lives, I know it's changed many people's lives through your program, through your teaching. So appreciate you just being here.
Man, thank y'all for having me on, man. Like I said, when I first started, I had no clue this was going to grow legs the way that it has. And like people like y'all giving me the opportunity to come out and speak and teach about it, I'm extremely grateful. And like I said, thank y'all for real.
I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for tuning in once again. Make sure you're subscribing, sharing, letting people know what we're talking about. And see you again next week.
Peace.
Bye-bye.